Okay, I'm going to begin, Ben, by asking, I mean, was it a challenge to get beneath the facade of somebody who is renowned for never letting anybody in? I mean, the real Lance Armstrong is almost something of a myth because he's never really showed it. Was it quite tough to find out who he really is?
I would never claim to say that I know who he is. I had to make my own version of Lance, or a version of a character called Lance Armstrong. It's a tricky thing when you're in the public eye, or you're the face of a company or a foundation, and there's a certain kind of sloganing that takes place and a kind of mask work that takes place to help build your product. His product happened to be raising money for cancer awareness and research. That's very real, and I think that comes from a very real place. I don't think he's just a mask. But he had to operate like a businessman or a politician.
And Stephen was saying that you wanted to meet Lance, but it was rejected. I was just wondering, that must have been quite disappointing. It would have been quite handy to speak to him.
The way that I work is come in as naively as possible and be able to ask innocent questions and start gaining a more intimate, natural shape of someone. I don't want to have preconceived ideas. Ideally,
he's quite a tough guy to like. To be honest, I mean, but in order to play him, do you need to try and like him? Do you have to try and find the human being within to try and understand what he did and why he did it?
For myself, I have to love the people I'm playing. And my job is to defend them, whether or not it's appealing or attractive or likable. The job is about love. The job is about empathy. And one could say he's not easy to love, but I'd also say you raise $500 million in cancer awareness and research. There's a lot to love with that. There's a lot to love to see somebody who looks at a foundation that's done that kind of good and is a bit of a warrior and a bit of a tyrant with those that threaten his empire, which is actually saving lives. He was a liar, he was a dope, he was a cheat, but so was everybody else in that time. If you were going to compete, you had to dope, period. So you have to go down 18 riders to find one clean rider. In that time that he won the Tour de France 7 times, he didn't steal it. He didn't steal the Tour de France. He just did it better than anybody else during that period and used that to raise money for cancer. He destroyed people's lives. I don't agree with how he handled a lot of things. But there's a lot to respect with that kind of animal, you know, for me.
There's lots of, it's not quite like the Tour de France, but there's lots of cycling scenes, which must have been pretty grueling. But do you think you need to go through that physical pain to help you embody the character?
Yeah. I think the body, all of us, we're all in a body, and that's, we hold trauma and stress and desire and sexuality and appetites in our skin. So the more that I can physically connect with those that I'm playing, the easier it is for me to feel.
Of course, you have admitted that you, for taking performance-enhancing drugs in your kind of preparation for the role, under medical supervision, of course. Mm-hmm. What do you think the benefit was for that? What's the idea behind doing that?
The idea, I suppose it's like any kind of education. It was a sensory education, the same way that getting up at 4 a.m. To cycle before work, or shifting a diet. Lance Armstrong wasn't just a doper, he did everything very well. So I worked on nutrition, I worked on aerodynamics, I trained with people who are masters at their trade. I also worked with a doctor that guided me through a contained, controlled version program of what the gentlemen were doing at this particular time to further understand one element of what the story's about.
And you've got some pretty sort of noteworthy films in the pipeline. I mean, The Finest Hours, Warcraft and Inferno are all coming up. I'm just wondering, is there one in particular that you're really, really looking forward to the release of?
I'm looking forward to Warcraft and Finest Hours and Inferno. It's been a busy year. But also mostly the film called Comancheria with Jeff Bridges and Chris Pine. I'm very excited. But the same writer who did Sicario. It's a sharp, modern Western bank robbery heist movie. I like this one.
And so just finally, I mean, Warcraft sounds like it could really push the boundaries of 3D entertainment. I was wondering if you've been lucky enough to see any footage yet and if that's something you can confirm.
I have seen footage of Warcraft, and Duncan Jones. Warcraft pushes technology farther than anything I've ever seen. It's pushing technology, 3D technology in a. Let me say this: I've never seen animated creatures more human.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey,